you X and allies, no living here. Time again for Axis and allies, no limits. Expansion enhanced global 1940 house rules for YouTube Wars, part 5 video. And this setup, first 4 parts were on the Pacific side. So part 5's on the Europe side of the map. Going through all the various tutorials of how my house rules are going to be in this G40 game. And so, first of all, in this version, Germany goes second, not first, like the usual out-of-box version. China goes first, as you saw in my other previous videos. And okay, all right. So Germany goes second, and so they're going to go now. So they're going to just do their usual battles. That doesn't require any sea lion. So I already have all the battles set up. Ping pong and Yugoslav. Going to attack France. I'm not going to attack Normandy though. Attack Sea Zone 110 and 111. And attack that transfer of my sub over there. So let's get to it, shall we? And let's just say what I usually, my usual results when I'm Germany attacking my sub in this season, I never get it 100%. So let's just say that sub is sunk, but it did sunk destroying the process. So that's over. And before I do that, I'm gonna buy some tech for Germany. And if you saw my previous videos, it's gonna be sort of like an anniversary style, token style tech, getting tech, but I'm gonna tweak it a little bit. So Germany will pay $5. I'll buy a token. And let's see what they get. Whoa, look at that, 6. How about that? So, Germany was going to opt for mechanized advanced artillery. And it's sort of like Sire Blood's rule of mechanized artillery, where all the artilleries they can move 2, and they can promote 2 infantry to attack at 2 as well. But in my rules, mechanized infantry cannot blitz, and it has to be supported by a tank if it wants to blitz. So Germany gets that, and of course Germany can't use it until round 4 of this game under my rules. So good for me if I'm Germany. So I'm also gonna buy 5 artilleries, and I'm also gonna upgrade my cruiser. I'll be upgrading a factory of a territory value of 3 or more. And I'm going to upgrade that. I'm going to put this under here to upgrade that at the end of my turn. And I'll just do it now. I'm not going to use it in battle anyways. So, as you know, cruisers can be upgraded to heavy cruisers, which means they can take 1 more damage, and they get an 1 AA fire in the first round of battle. So it just makes the cruiser that much stronger instead of almost a useless buy or purchase or build of a cruiser. So that's what I'll do. And let's see, let's go to this battle here. 111. I'm not gonna bore you with dice rolls, so I'm just gonna go by what by low luck odds. So I had what? 2 bombers, promoted dive bomber, and a fighter, 2 subs going in to season 11. So let's just say I get 3 hits out of that. 1, 2, 3. So all that's left is for the after the first round of battle. That's what's left is this is how do you say damage battleship. And in my rules, battleships get an AA fire, but not in the first round. Not in the first round of play, or in the first round, because this is 1940, and what my reason is that all the capital ships won't be outfitted with AA guns until the second round of the game. So in the first round, they get no AA fire because they're not fitted with AA guns, because it was about the beginning and end of the phony wars in 1940, and aerial warfare against ship wasn't fully appreciated in 1940 anyways. So that was my reason behind it. And plus, I didn't want to screw up with the mechanics of the first round of war for the Germans either. So let's say I got a hit of my ships. I'm going to sink on these subs. So we go for the second round of battle. Now that this battleship is damaged, under my rules, when battleship's damaged, its attack and the defensive factor is down to 1, so it only hits at a 3. It loses its AA gun. And what else? I forget what else. It can't bombard either until it's repaired. So now that's for the second round of battle. This battleship will only fire at a 3 instead of a 4. So it's easily that this is going to sink. But since there's a sub still in the battle, under my rules, well, it doesn't matter anyway, so. let's say I sunk this battleship, and the sub also misses on its first shot attack on the battleship. It also will sink as well. Well, let's say, yeah, okay. So that's the end of that battle. So now for season 110, I brought in 6. Let's see, what did I bring in? I think I brought 3 each of fighters and 3 each of dive bombers, a battleship, and 2 subs. So let's see. And I choose not to scramble, as in 111 as well. So, and since under my rules, subs can pick their target if there's no destroyer in the battle. It's not exactly a target select like it's a first run of fire for a sneak attack, because there's no cruisers. I mean, there's no destroyers defending those ships for the British. So let's say I got one hit for my subs, and I get to choose a target. So I'm going to choose a cruiser of the British. So that doesn't fire back. So you're sunk. And let's see. There's a way I'm going by low luck odds. So but these 2 get to fire back. The battleship and the French cruiser. And let's say they got lucky, got 2 hits, so I'm gonna do a sub with damage on my battleship. Okay. Okay, now the ping pong battle. And let's just say, and well, I'll bring about six infantry, 3 tanks, and a couple artilleries and a fighter. And let's say I got 4 hits, and the defenders, 5 infantry, they get 2 hits. Off of me. So that leaves 1 left in there. So I'll just ping pong it back into Yugoslav. Of course, I'm gonna move these here on the non-combat. This goes to Rome, this fighter. They ping pong into Slovakia, Hungary. Stop it. And I might as well now combat this from Romania as well. Okay, and let's see the Battle of France. I got that all set up. It's going to be a little different. I get the usual stuff usual German stuff in France. I'm also going to bring the dive bomber from I think it was from Poland. And this one is a little different because under my rules, the AA gun could be used as an AA gun against aircrafts or be used as an anti-tank gun against tanks. Tanks, or if there's no tanks in the battle, it'll be against mechs. And also, victory city, since France is a victory city. Oh, I forgot all about that. In victory cities, since France is worth 4, up to the territory's value, not to go beyond 5 infantries, 4 infantries in France could defend at a 3 or less. I'm going to put 4 infantries in the 3 position, defending. And so, and I opt to, since I got tanks and aircrafts coming in for the Germans, I'm going to opt to, France is going to decide to use this as an anti-tank gun. So it won't be fired at the aircraft. But it fires at tanks after defender attacks. So it's not quite the same as firing at aircrafts. So even if it hits tanks, the tanks will already have fired already, but it's eliminated after the end of the round of battle. So let's say I got what? Using low luck odds. Let's say I got 7 hits. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Of course, these 4 infantry are at 3 position. And let's say defender got 5 hits. So that's bye-bye. I'll choose 4 infantry and mech. And let's see what else. Okay. Now this gets to fire now. Let's see. He gets 3 dice. Let's see what let's say it misses. Okay. It has to hit at a 1, but it gets 3 shots. Let's say if it misses. Now I have the option. Of course, I didn't choose it as my casualty for France, so he gets to shoot for another round of battle against tanks. So that's all taken out. And with low luck odds, the attacker destroys everything. Go to the AA gun, but the AA gun still fires. And let's say it fires 3 more shots at the tanks. Let's say the anti-tank gun gets gets a tank. So, a tank is shot down. It's destroyed. So I survived with one less tank for the Germans. So that's how that works. Yeah, I'll do my usual combats. And I just put this here. And of course, railroads. I have railroads just much like Sire Blood has in his version. So from West Germany's 3 AA guns are gonna go railroad into Poland. It's up to the territory value. I wrote 3 of them. I railroad 3 of the 5 there. So that's legal. And I'll put all this stuff in here to Poland as well. I'll set myself up for a German attack in round 2 against the Russians. Of course, might as well hit this transport, go back and forth to Poland as well. So now I upgraded my cruiser. It's coming off the Germany factory. So it's legal. So more than a 3 or more on the territory value. So it's upgraded to a heavy cruiser. And remember, this battleship that's damaged for the Germans, it only fires at a 3 instead of a 4. Because it's damaged. And I'll put down my artillery. They'll go in Germany. Yeah, but they're not mechanized artillery just yet until round 4. And let me see. Okay, concerning the Denmark Straits, I'm going to have that a little bit different for the Denmark Straits. It's as part of also out of box rules for Denmark. I'm going to add an addition of the attacker cannot amphibious assault into West Germany or Denmark until they get Norway. Until they get Norway, the attacker, if they want. So they can't amphibious assault into Denmark or West Germany until they control Norway. But it has to be at the beginning of the round that they have to control Norway. So let's say the British just got Norway, they have to wait another round to come amphibious assault into Denmark or West Germany. So that's how that goes. I have it a little different from what I intended to do, but I didn't think people would like marking up sea zones with markers, so this is why I'm doing it this way. So I think it's because in the real war, Denmark or West Germany wasn't amphibious assaulted. It wasn't. And Norway wasn't even taken over to the last few months of the war anyways. So it protects the Germans' interests in Sea Zone 112, including Denmark and West Germany. So those 2 territories won't be easily attacked. Of course, I got that. And plus, I'll put these, I'll combat these later. You don't have to see that. It's going on almost 20 minutes already. And let's see, anything else for the Germans? Also, the Germans can, one of their national advantages is that their first buy of a minor factory is reduced to a half price. So instead of a 12, it's a 6. The reason why I have that, because I always thought this game should start with a factory in Romania or Poland. And since I don't like to add units to the beginning of the game, that's how I have it. So the first buy of for Germans of a minor factory would be down to 6 instead of a 12. So that's only the first buy of a minor factory. So that's the way I have it. And let's see. Victory cities, I got that. Titan gun, yeah. Damaged battleships, yeah. Sub attack. Pick their targets. Okay, so now that Germany has France, took over France, should make it legal. I'm going to have some Vichy France entered in this game too, so they didn't attack Normandy. They opted not to attack Normandy, so this is why I'll have it for Vichy France and the Free French. So once France is taken down, almost all the territories, with the exception of the mid-African territories, West Africa, Central Africa, Equatorial Africa, that becomes Free French. All the other territories becomes Vichy's France. As Madagascar, a destroyer, Syria, these 3 territories in Africa, and also Normandy and South France, they all become Vichy. Vichy French. So that means they're pretty much out of the war, but they're Vichy France. And what else? So Free French, they can, since they start, well, they won't start with anything because all their IPCs are taken over. But at the end of France's turn, they can collect 3 IPCs to be spent in the London factory. That's right, the London factory. But still, in London, it can't surpass 10 units in combination with the British also. So let's say the French bought an infantry in London. That means the British can't build more than 9 out of London in that round turn, in that same round turn. Can't surpass 10 units building in London. So that's how that goes. The shipping also comes Vichy French. And I'll explain later. Or should I explain it later or explain now? Well, I'll explain it now. So all these territories, I said that became Vichy France. That means all the humans from other nations can't enter into Vichy France without consequences. And I'll explain that later. Should I explain it later? I'll explain it now. See, this shipping of a cruiser and destroyer in CISO 93 becomes Vichy France on let's see, the British turn. They can try to control the shipping in CISO 93. It's sort of like the real war when the British attacked the French fleet in 1940, so the Germans wouldn't get them. So in my version, you roll on the British turn before they start their combat. When they start their combat, in the combat move phase, let's say. So they roll 1 die, and on a 1, that fleet becomes Germany. On a 2 through 4, that fleet is scuttled and removed from play. On a 5, it remains Vichy French. On a 6, if it's a 6, it becomes Free French. So that's how that will go. Of course, that destroyer It's not, doesn't count as part of Siege Zone 93. That's a little different, as I'll show you in the British turn. And also, like I said, there's consequences of entering Vichy territories. So and before I say that, let's say the Germans in round one they attacked southern France. If that happened, this fleet would also automatically become free French automatically. If in around round one the Germans decided to attack southern France, but they didn't, so it becomes Vichy that fleet. And let's see, also, if the British don't roll on their turn, roll for this fleet, Germany or Italy, they can just enter southern France, take it over, and these become automatically their fleet, whoever takes over southern France. Now, I'll explain that later on the British turn of round one. Next turn will be what will be the let's see, what's his face, Russians' turn. So they're gonna do their non-combat moves. I'm not gonna bore you with that. They're also gonna buy a dice for tech. Let's see what they got. So they spend 5. Let's see what they got. Whoa! No way! They got 6 as well. Dang! So they also let's say they want improved tanks. Okay, let's just say they want improved tanks. No, not improved tanks. They choose war bonds, and in war bonds in my game, instead of rolling 1 die and collect that many additional IPC, you roll 2 dice to determine how many additional dice you get. So I choose war bonds for Russia. Very good. And let's see. But I can't use that until round 4 of the game. Okay, let me go on with national advantages for Russia now. Now that I'm still under a half hour. And much like in Sire Blood's version, they also get a Trans-Siberian Railroad. So it extends straight lines from Russia through Novosibirsk to Guska, Yenisei, Yakut, Buryatia, and Amur. Straight line, so Sakha wouldn't be included among that. So railroad doesn't connect to Sakha, and of course Ivensky doesn't connect either, or the Urals either. But straight line. But mine's a little different from Sire Blood's. Only one way of direction for each round that's used. Russia can transport the capacity of a transport. So I choose to transfer 1 from Amur and 1 from Buryatia, and the railroad into Russia. It has to be only one direction. They can't just go one over here and one over there. So it has to be one direction for each round. And the Allies cannot use it, but it can be interrupted by the Axis forces. And they still can use it if Russia is down. If Moscow's taken over, they still can use it from Novosibirsk to Amur if they still own those territories for Russia. So that's how I do it. And I'm going to non-combat this later. And also for, let me see, for Russia, let's see, one of the national advantages is that they can move their factories if they choose opt to, sort of like Sire Bloods, But in mine, they can move 1 or 2 spaces, but it has to be a consequence. Let's say I want to move this factor from Ukraine to Bryansk. That's what I'll do. So there's consequences of that. They don't have to pay for it, but building out of it is reduced. So if it's 1 space they moved, only 1 build out of that factory. But if it's 2 spaces, let's say it was into Tambov, it can be up to, there's no builds. But in this scenario, it's 1 build out of that factory. So that's how I have it. Also, I'm going to give an additional national objective for the Russians as well, because I figure they need it as Lend-Lease. So let's say they get 3 IPCs as a national objective if they're in the war, of course. They can't be neutral. They have to be in the war in order to receive it. Let's say this is C-Zone 80 is cleared of all Axis shipping, Axis warships, including submarines. Plus, Persia and Northwest Persia has to be under Allied control. It can no longer be pro-Allied. It has to be under Allied control in order for Russia to receive 3 IPCs in national objectives. Same thing with Amur. Yeah, I forgot what C-Zone. I think it was C-Zone 5. Let's just say the C-Zone off of Amur has to be cleared of Axis warships as well, including submarines, to receive 3 more IPCs in national objectives. And of course, they have to control Amur as well, under Russian control, and C-Zone 5 off of Amur has to be cleared of Axis shipping in order to receive it. And of course, the Russians have to be at war, of course, with the European powers. It doesn't count with the Japanese. It has to be at war with the European powers of Italy or Germany. So that's the way I have it. So next up for part 6 will be for the Americans and the British as well. It'll be part 6 and introductory video of my rules and parts 1 through 3, 4, 5 will be under my playlist on my channel under customizations, house rules, and variants. It'll be under that in my playlist if you're interested in seeing that. And if you have any questions, relevant questions, just put it in the comments section. And so that'll conclude part 5, and part 6 will come up soon of my tutorial. No limit out.